And I think we're live. All right. Hi, everybody. My name is Aundrea De Leon. And if you have ever left the comfort and safety of a corporate career or a 9-to-5 job to set out to launch your own business and make it on your own in the world, then you might appreciate this story. So I will share a story with you when I launched my business 3 years ago and what happened. So I was fresh out of corporate America. I'd been out of corporate America for all of about 4 weeks and decided I had no clue what to do. I had no plan. I had no clue what business I was launching. I just had a few new skills and talents that I thought I could take out into the world. And so I went about what most people do, and I hired a coach. And I hired this coach, and the coach was supposed to be an expert in helping you grow a 6-figure business. So for me, coming out of a 6-figure career, I wanted that 6-figure business, and I wanted it as quick as possible because I was the primary income earner in our family. So if I wasn't making money, our family wasn't eating. So I hired this coach, I got into their program, and 2 weeks into the program, I knew I was in the wrong program. And in fact, I went to that coach and told him, I'm in the wrong program. This program is for people who have been in business for at least a year or more and have more clarity and know what they're doing, and I don't know what I'm doing. And I just got the song and dance that, you're smarter than you think, you'll get through this, you can get through this if you just stay focused, like you know more than you think you know, blah, 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 just keep going. And so I was like, all right, fine. Well, I'll just try and make the best of it and just keep going. And the other part of it too was the conversation was, well, too bad, so sad, you signed a contract, you're paying me. So being the high performer that I was in the corporate world and used to just powering through and making it happen, I said, okay, all right, I'll just stick with it and keep going. So I kept going and I kept going a few weeks later, and I was really struggling. I just wasn't getting there. And then I saw my coach do a Facebook Live about this conversation we had where I, was lacking clarity and frustration. And in her Facebook Live to everybody, she's like, you just have to remember why you started your business and just get back to your why. You just got to keep moving forward. Well, the interesting thing is I didn't know why I was in business. And in fact, her program, there was no part of that program where you sat down and worked on your why or anything. So I had no clue why I was in that program. So being the high performer that I am, I went and hired another coach that works with people that are in launch phase or new to business or, kind of, have been in the business, not been in the entrepreneurial world long. I hired another coach at a lower rate to help me do the work that the first coach was giving me. So I'm hiring another coach to help me get through another coaching program. And so I'm going on and on and on and on, and I'm frustrated. I'm really not making progress. I'm unclear. I'm stopped starting. I'm thinking I'm going to make progress and then I'm going to go do this and then I come back and I'm just frustrated. I'm overwhelmed. You have to have all these systems. You got to do all this marketing. You have to do this. You have to do that. And I just was like, I'm not getting any of this right. So it turned out that I went to this event one day, and at this event, the first coach that I hired, her mentor was speaking. And she said something to me that absolutely changed my life, changed my mind about things, and made me realize something that I didn't know. So this woman was speaking, and she was talking about women in business, and she said there are 3 phases you have to go through in business. She said you have to go through launch, you have to go through growth, then you can go to leverage. And she said, what she said, which resonated with me and made me go, oh my gosh, this makes so sense, is that you can't bypass any phase and just skip to the next phase. You can't piggyback them. You have to go through each phase because there's learning and information you have to gather at each phase before you could move forward. Well, it finally dawned on me that the first coach that I hired was a growth coach. She was not a launch coach. And that I had bought in and allowed myself to be sold on the fact that I was just smart and ambitious and had so much potential, I could just work all that stuff out and just go straight to growth. So I finally went back to that coach and I said, well, interesting. I learned from a very wise person that you know and I know that you're a growth coach and I'm in launch phase and I need launch support, not growth support. But I also know that it was my choice to do that. It was my mistake. But you knew that that's where I was, and yet you just wanted me in your program anyway. Anyway, so I broke up with that coach. Still had to pay her because that's all they cared about was booking the program, making their bottom line, and putting a butt in a seat. So I learned my lesson about that. And I even had hired another coach during that time that supposedly helped you find your voice of your brand and everything else. And then I had to fire that coach too, because here I was 6 months out of corporate America. I had spent over $10,000 on coaches. I had made no money back, and my family needed to eat. So I sucked it up and did what any high performer and a highly accountable person does. And I went and I found myself a job to stop the bleeding and to feed my family. But I learned a few very valuable lessons that I want to share with you. That is that, number one, it's your job. I learned it was my job to know what I needed and to navigate the next step. And there are bazillion gurus out there will tell you what you need to do, but they don't know you, and they don't know where you are mentally or emotionally in the process. They just have the expertise and tools and skills for you to be successful in business. So I learned it was my job to know what I needed and to be aware of where I was and seek the right next step. The other thing that I learned is that I needed help with launch. Most people, you can spend 1 to 2 years here and never make it anywhere. That's why so many businesses fail in the first 2 years, is because launch is the time that you have to build a foundation to grow from. And you need to find a way, a support system that helps you understand what it means to go through launch, that has a very simple plan, a simple process, and a simple framework, but also has the ability to help you mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, because when you decide to leave behind a career and move into business ownership, it's not just a change, it is a massive shift of life. And you're giving up safety to seek freedom, and you just feel like everything has been pulled out from underneath of you, and like you're flying solo in the middle of the air. So my name is Aundrea De Leon. I actually help coaches and consultants who are leaving behind the safety of their former corporate career to move into the next phase of their life, to do that with confidence and clarity so that they can quickly create the impact and the income that they want to create in this next venture. If you like my story, if you can resonate with my story, if there's any part of my story that you can relate to in terms of hiring more coaches, etc., you don't need another coach for launch. What you need confidence and clarity on how to take simple steps, what those are, how to do them, and how to break through the mental and emotional blocks that you're going to encounter in the process to get into the process to prove that you can and will be able to make money in your own business, to build your belief, and then build a foundation from that to launch your business with consistency before you move into growth. If you like this message, stay tuned for more videos to help you understand that launch process and tips and tricks that you need to know about that process to help you be successful. Have a great day. We'll talk to you guys soon.